Thank you very much, thank you. Welcome to Stewart Lee's comedy vehicle, of which I, Stewart Lee, am the designated driver. What I want to talk about this week is political correctness. The political correctness gone mad. I was in a service station on the M1 in August with my 13-month-old son. It was a Sunday night, about 8 o'clock. And he wandered off on his own. He went into the little gambling area where all the fruit machines are. And then an announcement came over the tannoy reminding him that that area was for over 18s only. There's very little point in using a tannoy to tell him that, because one, he's too small to reach the buttons. He's about 1.5 foot tall. Secondly, he doesn't have any money. He has no source of independent wealth. It's not possible for him to play the machines. And thirdly, there's very little chance that a 13-month-old child is going to understand the complexities of British gambling law, you know, even if he could speak English, which he can't. There's very little point in doing that. It was political correctness gone mad. Or is it political correctness gone mad? Is it just the kind of thing we think is political correctness gone mad? Because we've not really thought about what political correctness means. But it is easy to cause offence to a minority without perhaps intending to. I'll give an example of what I mean. I was doing a charity gig at Battersea Town Hall a couple of years ago, and the dressing room was really nice, uncharacteristically for a comedy dressing room, but they'd really gone to town on it, and there was a bunch of flowers and a bottle of wine in a cooler, and a good luck card. And I thought, oh, it's great, you know, they really thought about this. And then suddenly, on the floor, up against the skirting board, under the dressing table, I noticed this. Now, what this is, it's a single abandoned child's ballet shoe, a small child's ballet shoe. And that is a very distressing and sad object to find anywhere. And it started to make me feel uncomfortable and freaked out. Why was it there in a room which otherwise appeared to have been very carefully prepared? Had some strange rumour gone round about me? Had someone gone, of course, you know, he won't even go on unless there's a single abandoned child's ballet shoe in the dressing room. But it is an awful, sad thing. You can see, if I just move it over the heads of the crowd, no one even likes it coming near them. People move away. If I push it towards the viewer at home, that is a terrible thing to see. It's like a horrible... It's like a wave of sadness coming towards you. Someone at home going, now what is this? What is happening? I didn't pay my licence fee to have a small child's ballet shoe pushed towards my face. Well, it appears you did. Not a pleasant thing. We'll put it over there. The more I looked at it, the more sad I became. I thought, why is that there? There's only two possible reasons why that can be there on the floor in the dressing room, and neither of them are good. One is, it's been lost, which is sad. And the other is that it's no longer needed, which is worse. But I thought I'll roll with it. I went out on stage and I took it out with me and started talking about it in front of about 500 people. I said, look, I found this in the dressing room. It's a sad thing. There's only two possible reasons why it's there. One is it's been lost, which is sad. The second is no longer required, which is worse. Well, there was no laugh at all. Just a terrible feeling of 500 people staring at me with hate in their eyes. People going, why have you done this? Why? And then I looked down and on the front row there was a very young one-legged ballerina. What are the chances of that happening? Who could realistically have thought you would make a joke about one-legged ballerinas in the presence of a one-legged ballerina?
Good afternoon. A BBC comedy programme has sparked yet another wave of worldwide protest.
What are the chances of that happening? Who could realistically?
To one Leicestershire family, a BBC comedy programme routine about a one-legged ballerina was anything but funny.
Hello, BBC. Yes, I'd like to register a complaint.
As licence payers, we expect to be able to watch a television comedy programme without there being anything in it that we don't completely agree with.
According to the one-legged ballerina family of Lutterworth, the BBC have made a grave error of judgment.
I am a one-legged ballerina, and so is my husband, and so are both my children. My dog has a leg missing and enjoys ballet, and we should have the same rights as everyone else.
I mean, it's political correctness gone mad, you know. I doubt very much that the BBC would make a joke about one-legged Muslims doing some sort of Muslim dance.
Dervishes.
And today, furious one-legged ballerinas have been demonstrating against the comedian Stewart Lee's one-legged ballerina joke all across the globe. In London, Paris, Istanbul, and even Shetland. Tomorrow, the case will be presented to the Broadcasting Ombudsman. If he finds in the BBC's favour, then the demonstrators won't have a leg to stand on. Goodbye.
So it is possible to cause offence without intending to. On the same note, I've recently started going to Weight Watchers. And, yeah, did you notice that? The silence? The silence in the room, the viewers at home, did you notice that silence? What happened there was, I said, I've recently been going to Weight Watchers, and there was a silence in the room here. Okay, now what that means, comedically, is there was no laugh, because I'm not so fat that if I say, I've been going to Weight Watchers, everyone goes, oh, it's a bit late for that, ha, ha. But also, I'm not so thin that if I say, I've been going to Weight Watchers, people go, oh, why have you done that? That's ridiculous, ha, ha. When I say, I've been going to Weight Watchers, you, collectively, just think, yeah, maybe you should think about doing that. Yeah. You know, you're in the danger zone. I've recently been going to Weight Watchers, but I'm 40 years old. You know, everyone else at Weight Watchers is women. It's embarrassing going to Weight Watchers as a 40-year-old man. It takes a lot of guts to keep going to Weight Watchers as a middle-aged man. You have to be brave. Braver in many ways than a fireman or someone fighting in a war. So I've been going to Weight Watchers, but I'm the only person in Britain today, I think, to be failing to lose weight as a result of Islam. Now, don't worry. If you're at home and you're, say, an independent on Sunday reader and you're thinking, I hope this isn't going to be needlessly offensive, don't worry. Likewise, if you're a Top Gear viewer and you're thinking, oh, I hope this will be needlessly offensive, don't worry. I've done this bit before. On stage, it was reviewed, this next bit, in the London Free newspaper Metro as being tediously politically correct. Okay? So don't worry about being offended, just get ready to be bored out of your tiny mind, okay? The Weight Watchers I go to, Finsbury Park Weight Watchers, there's only 2 men in that Weight Watchers, me and a Polish man in his late 70s. And everyone else there is women. Women of all creeds and colours and cultures and races and shapes and sizes. It's like a United Nations day out to a funfair hall of mirrors. Which they did used to have, actually, during the Kofi Annan era. Kofi Annan would go with all the staff every weekend to the Coney Island Fun Fair, where Kofi Annan would look at himself in a slimming mirror, because he'd become very concerned about being overweight, and he was overweight, Kofi Annan, as a result of his habit of starting every day with a breakfast of a coffee and a naan. Coffee and naan every day. a coffee and a naan. Coffee and naan. What would you like for breakfast, coffee and naan? Yes, please. He could not escape the destiny of his name.
And so to the plains of Ghana, where, just like here in Blighty, an anxious father waits outside the door while his wife gives birth. But in this funny land, there is a very unusual tradition concerning the way a child is named. And have you any idea what that thing is likely to be?
So I've been going to Weight Watchers, and I was in the queue waiting to get weighed. You queue up to get weighed, don't you? And about two or three in front of me, there was a young Muslim woman, about 23 years old, and she was wearing the hijab. This is the headscarf they wear because there's a taboo in Islam about men seeing hair. And she turned around to me, she was ever so polite, and she said, I do apologise, but I'm about to get weighed. Would you mind going out in the corridor? Now, in retrospect, this was obviously because she was going to take the scarf off, and it wouldn't be appropriate for me to see her hair. But at the time, I'm ashamed to say I didn't make the connection, and I just thought she didn't want me to see how much weight she'd put on. So I said, no, I'm not going out, and I don't know what you're worried about, love. You're not even that fat. And she said, no, it's the... And I realised immediately, I started to apologise, but in between me and her was a Hasidic Jewish woman about 50 years old, and she sort of butted in, and she looked at the young Muslim woman, then she looked at me, and then she sort of raised her eyes, she sort of went, as if to go, first the suicide bombings and now this. But the irony is the Hasidic Jewish women have a hair taboo as well, and they shave back their hair and wear wigs over it. So there's the young Muslim woman in the headscarf, the Jewish woman in the wig. I'm an atheist, right? A fat atheist, admittedly, we've established. But I didn't see why my attempts to lose weight should be compromised in any way by the hair anxieties of a God I don't necessarily believe in. But it looked like there was going to be a sort of three-way argument. I thought, I can't stay here for this. I thought, because if we ever are going to decide how exactly, if at all, God wants hair to be concealed, that's not going to happen at Finsbury Park Weight Watchers. Because it's Finsbury Park Weight Watchers, not Finsbury Park Weight Watchers and Religious Hair Taboo Discussion Circle. Although I would go to that, obviously. It would be ace. And can I just say what a pleasure it is to be back in metropolitan, sophisticated London, where that joke gets a laugh. I've been doing this around the country. Here, the idea of Finsbury Park Weight Watchers and Religious Hair Taboo Discussion Circle is understood as absurd. But when I'm touring this material up north, Carlisle, Derby, I say Finsbury Park Weight Watchers and Religious Hair Taboo Discussion Circle. Nothing, no laugh. Just a load of northerners muttering to each other. Well, they would have that in